I'm Dave Felberg, Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm the 2005 USDGC champ.
My name is Nate Doss, PDGA number 11794. Biggest tournament I've ever won would have to be the World Championships 3 times.
My name's Paul Macbeth, PDGA number 27523, and the biggest titles to my name are the World Championships.
Hi, my name is Steve Prinster and my PDGA number is 10628. My biggest win to date is a national tour event in 2004 at the Dogwood Crosstown Classic.
I'm Steve Rico, PDGA number 4666. My biggest open win was probably the 2006 Japan Open.
My name is Will Schustrick, PDGA number 29064, and I'm a 2-time United States champion.
Growing up, it was definitely baseball. I played a lot. I mean, almost every day. Playing second base. I went from second base to shortstop. The reason I want the ring this year is to complete that Grand Slam. You know, I'm doing it for more than just myself this time. You know, I'm doing it for the whole sport. Keeping your head on straight and keeping focus for those 18 holes. And out here at the USDGC, those ropes can really get to you.
Yeah, you got to put as much pressure as you can on yourself to succeed. It just depends on how much you want to win. Competition is always good. It always wants you to be better. There's always somebody out there who's working harder. Once you get a feeling of winning that tournament, it's almost a sense of satisfaction. To win, you have to play better than everybody else. And you have to put your life into the sport to be at the very top. It just feels good to win.
Disc golf, it's in the air. Join the excitement at pdga.com.
For the last 15 years, top disc golfers have arrived in Rock Hill, South Carolina to compete for the most prestigious title in the sport, USDGC champion.
The USDGC is really our biggest tournament in the game. The biggest payout, the biggest, longest course. The World Championships is nice as well, but this tournament really means a lot to all of the players.
It's the strongest field, the strongest competitors, and pretty much the biggest mental game out there.
What makes the USDGC special is that it's been around for so long and it has such a prestigious name to it that having your name associated with it at all means a lot.
This tournament's important to disc golfers because it is a prestigious event and they host a classy field and you're competing against the world's best. So for people to strive to make it into the USDGC, it makes them competitive and they're leaning towards becoming one of the best, and the only way to get there is to qualify for the event and to play against the elite players in the game.
What the Innovus champion has done is created more qualifiers across the nation. We slimmed the field to 56 this year. When I started, it was 230. Back in 05, maybe 200. So I think that's a good idea. More qualifiers around the nation, lower the competition, creates a better flow, and people enjoy themselves better at the competition level.
In the United States Championship is 4 rounds on the same course with the highest competition in the whole world right there, who has to qualify to play the tournament. And people would pay any amount of money just to play in the tournament. And in Worlds, they accept everybody to come play, which is not a bad thing at all. It's just a lot more prestigious to play in the USDGC because it's just so selected.
Becoming the USDGC champ requires intense focus, determination, and dedication.
Really, I think it takes about a month or 2 months to prepare yourself for a really big tournament like this. It takes a lot of rest for sure, and I try to not play a lot of tournaments the month prior. I try to get in a lot of practice putting, and out here it's a lot of driving. Also, you have to be really accurate. So I try to play the right courses and practice the right things, and really have enough stamina to come out here and put a week into practice and a week into the tournament.
The prize purse at the United States Championships is one of the richest in the sport, but it is the high level of competition and the challenge of the Winthrop Gold Course that truly motivates these disc golfers to perform at their best.
It's very prestigious, and I'd say it's the biggest event to capture in the world of disc golf.
It's the class of the event, and then the players here is just epic.
The competitors are excited to come to Winthrop, one, because there's so much history here. You know, I mean, after 15 years, I mean, this is one of the most photographed courses, and it's been on videos all over the place. So, you know, people have seen and heard about Winthrop for years, in some cases, before they even get here. You know that there's been 14 years prior, plus a world championships of memories here that have helped define professional disc golf. So players come and they have a certain expectation of what this course is going to be like, and we all know that. And so we have a team of people working to bring the course along for weeks in advance to make sure that it meets or exceeds what they have in mind.
If you've seen or played disc golf, you haven't seen or played it until you've been to the USDGC.
The course this year will present significant challenges to the field. An entirely new set of ropes have been added to the layout. So now, in addition to the red rope OB areas, there are yellow roped hazard zones too that will certainly see the scores rising. The key this year would be who could stay in bounds and avoid the added penalties.
If you ask any one of our competitors, they would say, man, it's tough as nails, but it's absolutely fair. You know, there's no shot where you can just relax and lays it out there. I mean, you've got to be precise. You've got to be playing within yourself. You have to have a game plan, and that's tough. And not everybody can do that, and not everybody can do that when the lights come on and they call your name at the first tee and remind you of what state you're representing. And so when you start getting those jitters, I mean, I've heard over the years the game's very best players say, man, I'm usually pretty good on the course, but when I get up on that first tee, sometimes my knees are shaking.
The course offers every single type of shot, a lot of elevation, there's out of bounds, it takes a lot of strategic play.
This course, Winthrop Gold, it's a mental course. You can go out there and have every shot, but getting those shots to land within a 60-foot rope is, the most difficult part. And then when you don't do it is keeping your head in it and mentally being able to come back from a shot that goes out of bounds or in the water.
The course is very slow this year and tough to read. I see a lot of players, including myself, shots we routinely threw over out of bounds are not getting there. And the reason is I went and looked at the other players the other day. Instead of playing, I went out in front of them and sat at the greens and watched them come in. And they are coming in within 4 or 5 feet of the line, no movement, stuck. And I'm talking in the years past, we were coming in 30, 40 feet, skip, skip, skip. That 30, 40 feet that you got to air it and you're getting nothing is really hurting players. I see that hole 12 is playing at least a stroke harder than it ever played. And hole 10, I didn't see but one player go for it. So I think that those are the kind of challenges that have changed in the Winthrop Gold this year.
This course is all about playing within yourself, realizing your abilities, realizing when it's the time to take a risk. And I think it works well for me because, I've always thought of myself as a smart player. You got to have discipline out here, and you got to get up for certain shots. You got to get, take that pressure and turn it into focus, and make those important shots work, because sometimes when you don't, it's 3 strokes in the other direction. It's important to keep in perspective what's a good score on this course. Anything in the 50s is really solid shooting.
Coming into the USDGC, the title is everything here. The reason I want the ring this year is to complete that Grand Slam everyone's talking about. I'm doing it for more than just myself this time. I'm doing it for the whole sport, so it's kind of exciting. I can't really complain with my game right now, so I think it's working this year, and I'm right where I want to be.
I think Paul McBeth, he'll struggle. I believe that he'll struggle. He has the winning edge right now with his putt, and he's really seeing the eye of the tiger. You can see him on the course, but I don't know. It's tough to close here, and of all places, if this was the 3rd or the 4th, maybe. But this is a tough place to close.
Paul McBeth did not get off to a great start, though he stayed within striking distance after the first 2 rounds. His 10 under par through the first 2 rounds would be outstanding for most other events, but for the star-studded USDGC, it was rather pedestrian. Will Schusterich, too, had a fairly average first round, but his round 2 put him right back in contention. But it was the surprise play of disc golfers like Steve Brinster, Barry Schultz, Nate Doss, and Steve Rico that had fans wondering if there would be a surprise champion during this year's edition of the USDGC. Steve Brinster's first round 55 put him in the early lead. His signature putting was a perfect complement to the long distance off the tee which he has been known for. Barry Schultz carried the momentum from his 2013 PDGA Masters World title into Rock Hill with him as he stayed on the lead card through the first 2 rounds. Nate Doss, as he has displayed all season, maintained a slow but steady climb upward here on Winthrop Gold and found himself with the top group going into Friday's moving day round. And Steve Rico, whose quiet demeanor on and off the course helps him fly below the radar. But with his incredible long putting skills, his chain-smashing displays had many taking notice during this year's USDGC. Who would be in position to make the biggest move during Friday's moving day round? Stay tuned and find out.
You're watching the Beach Sports Network. For more information, visit us on Facebook and Twitter.
I've played over 500 disc golf courses in 11 countries.
I'm a 3-time world champion.
I've played disc golf since I could walk.
I carry the best equipment in the world.
I carry
a grip bag.
You're watching the Beach Sports Network. For more information, visit us on Facebook and Twitter.
The biggest competitor out there on the course is always yourself. It's keeping your head on straight and keeping focus for those 18 holes. And out here at the USDGC, those ropes can really get to you. I'm trying to stay calm, keep my nerves under control and my excitement under control. The first 2 rounds, I was good at the start, but kind of got too excited out there and got ahead of myself. So The third round, they call it moving day, so today's a huge day to, make a move on those the leaderboards. So I think if I come in with a good round today, maybe a great round, I could definitely have a chance right there at the end and hopefully put some pressure on them for the final 2 rounds.
Schusterich had fought his way back onto the lead card, but it was the play of Nate Doss, Steve Brinster, and Steve Rico that had everyone holding their collective breath to see how the drama would unfold. Barry Schultz had the fight of a 3-time U.S. DGC champion until he approached the dreaded hole 13 on Thursday. His 11 throws on the hole known as 888 was a painful reminder to the rest of the field that their hopes for disc golf's most coveted prize could be dashed in just a few heartbeats. But Friday's round became a duel between Doss and Brinster, who were locked in a game of whatever you can do, I can do better. Drives, approaches, putts. It didn't matter. Both players were in it to win it. And their attacking nature served them both well on the vast, intricate fairways of the Winthrop Gold Circuit. Brinster was steady during Friday's front 9, faltering slightly with a bogey on hole 12. But his string of 6 birdies to end his third round would slip him into a 1-throw lead over Doss going into Championship Saturday. Steve Rico was quietly positioning himself to pounce on Saturday as he was drafting Brinster only 3 throws behind. Schusterich, too, was in great position for Saturday's round, leaving only 4 throws between him and the leader. By the time Friday's third round of the 2013 U.S. DGC came upon us, there were a few things that were coming into focus. 1. Paul McBeth was not going to capture the first ever 4-event Grand Slam of disc golf. 2. Will Schusterich was still very much in the hunt for an unprecedented three-peat. And 3, there was a real possibility that a dark horse winner would come out of this very talented pack of disc golfers bunched up near the top of the leaderboard. Could Brinster preserve his Friday bounce back into the lead and hold it together to capture his first major? Or would the hungry pack of wolves chasing the Warwick, New York native pounce on him in time to take the title? We'll find out after this quick break.
Disc golf. It's in the air. Join the excitement at PDGA.com.
You're watching the Beach Sports Network. For more information, visit us on Facebook and Twitter.
Championship Saturday brought with it an air of anxiety, anticipation, and exhilaration. Many were wondering when Brinster and Doss would yield to Schusterich, who was in reasonable position to make a three-peat possible. Rico, too, was in the hunt, but his resume was flush with close calls that had few believing he would actually close the deal.
I go back a long way with Doss and Brinster. We've been playing since, we were kids out there. So, playing with Will. Will's a great player. He's been around for the last, 4 or 5 years, making a statement out there. And just watching all these guys play at a high level like that, it's awesome. I'm glad to be a part of it.
I think all the guys in the league group are actually rooting for each other. You know, Stevie Rico threw in a bunch of putts yesterday. I was happy for him. You know, I love seeing good golf. It's certainly, you know, I want to win just as bad as anybody. And, you know, if it was a choice between me and him, I want it to be me. But, you know, Nate's a great guy. He's a good friend, and look forward to going out there and battling with him.
Today I'm playing against my favorite two Steves, Steve Brinster, Steve Rico, and the guy who's a two-time champion. And, you know, going into the tournament, I said, you know, this tournament is going to have to go through Will Schustrick. You're going to have to beat this guy to win this tournament. He's not going to just fade away. And that's kind of come through in the fact that Will is there. You know, he's right there. And really, it's anybody's game.
My mindset is the same from the past days, going to the last day, and I'm definitely looking to win for sure. I got nothing to lose, so I got to go out there and make shots, basically. Go out there and play how I want to play.
My goal is to shoot somewhere in the 50s, hopefully 57, 58. If I could keep that in perspective, even if I don't get off to a great start, if I could pick it up, you know, I'll do that. But more than anything, it's just one shot at a time.
Every shot is, you're constantly thinking about the shot, where you got to place it. Usually the wind, it's pretty calm today, but all those play a factor in the round. You know, it doesn't take much to have a bad shot and let it snowball on you.
My goal is to go out, enjoy the competition, try to play as well as I can, and when it's all said and done, you know, whoever wins or whoever's on top, so be it. But as long as I can enjoy what I'm doing, I think I'm going to have some success.
I've had a couple thirds, some fourth, fifth, a couple sevenths. I've been there quite a few times, but this is my best opportunity, so hopefully I can take advantage of it.
To play with a guy like Steve Brinster in the final round of a big tournament when he's leading, you know, I'm right behind him, to say that he's a close friend is a little bit of an understatement. You know, I've been playing with this guy forever, and he's a very close friend. You know, we talk all the time, we're always boosting each other up. So, you know, for me, regardless of what happens today, I want to be able to stay positive with him and with myself and the other guys on the group, you know, and really, you know, make sure that we're all there for each other. You know, we're trying to beat each other in the end, which is the goal. But we're all friends and we're all competitors too.
I mean, so far this season has been disappointing. Last year I played pretty solid. I don't think I finished out of the top 10 in any events. This year I had the lead of the European Open by a handful of strokes or so, and ended up being my worst finish of the year. All the lessons learned, if I could go out there and come out with a win, then all of a sudden it becomes, you know, from a season I wasn't that happy with to one of my best.
Well, these guys are all experienced players. They all know what they're doing out there, you know. It just comes down to who can stay composed the best out there and who can execute.
Today's another one of those situations. I put myself, you know, in position to win, and all I have to really do is allow myself to go out there and do what I'm supposed to do. And I think the biggest thing that everybody's going to be challenging themselves with is trying to overcome themselves.
Everybody's out there to beat the other person, whether you could be best friends or you could be enemies. You don't ever talk to each other. It doesn't really matter when it comes down onto the course. Without competitiveness, you have nothing. There's nothing out there to even play for. To win, you have to play better than everybody else. And you have to put your life into the sport to be at the very top. It just feels good to win.
So, Saturday's horse race began with Brinster carding 30 and Doss a 28 on the front nine, leaving the three-time world champion up by one throw. The players knew that the bulk of their scoring was available on the back nine of Winthrop Gold, so they made the turn and began their sprint towards home. And what happened next, no one saw coming. While all eyes were on the lead card with Brinster, Doss, and Schustrick running nose-to-nose down the stretch, Dave Feldberg was crafting the round of his life with a 7-under par on the front nine that suddenly had him forging up the leaderboard. Feldberg continued his march and eventually captured sole possession of first place heading into the very familiar number 18. His 13 under par for the day, certainly not uncharacteristic for the great closer, and his supreme confidence would only put more pressure on the top card, knowing now that they had to catch the savvy veteran. After gaining perfect position from the tee of 18, Felberg was left with a wide-open fairway to craft his shot to the green. His birdie from the previous day should have given him the confidence to execute his final approach of the event. But instead of looking forward to finishing his final hole, Felberg looked back to see where the lead card stood. This small lapse in concentration resulted in Felberg's second shot getting too much air underneath the disc, and his throw floated out of bounds. He knew his chance for a second USDGC title was now dashed without even finishing the hole. A triple bogey 7 left Felberg with an endless list of what-ifs to ponder from this weekend as he finished one throw behind Barry Schultz, already in the clubhouse.
53. I just got a 7 from 56. And I peered the approach, hit right before the stump. Skip. Good. They said jump the wall, jump the bush, OB. Has to be about luck.
Schultz's 30 under par put him in a three-way tie with Brinster and the hard-charging Schusterick, who seemed to be relishing the challenge from the older Brinster. Hole 16 found Schusterick to within 22 feet of the pin, forcing Brinster to make his longer putt to keep pace. And keep the pace he did by burying his deuce, again locking him and Schusterick into a tie going into the dramatic hole 17. And that's when the one-hole collapse that previously plagued others on the Winthrop Gold Course finally struck Schusterick. His first tee shot on 17 hit the tree, leaving him only to tee again, and whether Will was too relaxed or whether his targeting of the right side of the putting area was overplayed, he hit the tree again, all but relinquishing the championship to Brinster. Clearly knowing that his tee shot on 17 was the single biggest throw of his life, Brinster floated a beautiful disc onto the green just feet from the target for yet another birdie.
Get in it. Come on.
That would mean Brinster could simply card a bogey 5 on hole 18 and capture the title. Which he did perfectly, earning him his first career major championship.
Champion for this year from New York. Let's hear it for Steve Brinster.
I'm Steve Brinster. I'm the U.S. champ. Thanks for watching.